Welcome to Moments of Rage channel. Nature always contains mysteries and terrible powers that humans can hardly control. Earthquakes shook the ground, fierce storms swept away everything in their path, and powerful tsunamis swept away entire cities. Join us in reviewing the natural disasters that have left a deep mark on history and remind us of the fragility of life. We have just received urgent news from Zhejiang province. A sudden heavy rain fell, causing a terrible flood, completely paralyzing all traffic here. Houses, cars, all were submerged in a sea of moth water. People are confused and worried because they do not know how to escape this difficult situation. But most worrying of all, tourists present in Zhejiang are locked and cannot change direction. They faced a scene of chaos, not knowing how to return safely. A man in the rescue team did not hesitate and rushed into the rushing floodwaters, determined to save a woman who was being swept away by the water. With quick thinking and courage, he brought the woman out. Death scythe. Right now, a horrifying scene is taking place. A giant tornado is roaring from the ocean towards the shore, attacking a beachside hotel. Can the hotel withstand the irresistible force of nature? A house was completely eroded into the river. No one can imagine the devastation and pain this family endured. This scene was not only a material loss, but also a huge mental shock. In just a split second, a house was partially swept away by a landslide. This heartbreaking scene makes us unable to help, but feel sad. Harsh natural disasters have robbed them of peace. A large mountain had partially collapsed onto the road, causing an extremely horrifying scene. Chunks of rock and soil poured onto the road as if wanting to swallow everything in their path. Be very careful. Stay away from dangerous areas. Lightning struck a car on the road. Fortunately, there were no casualties. A passenger bus carrying dozens of people tried to cross the fierce floodwaters and overturned. Luckily, all passengers miraculously escaped in time. This is a breathtaking moment, reminding us of the dangers of nature and the importance of caution. A newly built building in Malaysia was completely destroyed after a terrible earthquake. The scene was truly chaotic and scary as people panicked and fled to safety, trying to protect their lives. This road, once a lifeline connecting communities, has now been completely destroyed after a devastating earthquake. Repairing this road will require a lot of time and effort. The water is rising rapidly. The tense and dangerous scene caused even the bravest men to seek shelter. We witness the strength of nature and the courage of humans. Terrifying floods devastated Pakistan, breaking more than 40 small dams and causing 210 bridges to completely collapse. But the most heartbreaking thing is that up to 10 million people had to relocate, losing their homes and properties. Impressive video captures ice flowing on the Yen River in Krai, Russia. Under the harsh weather and location near the North Pole, giant icebergs move, creating a majestic and emotional scene. In just a few minutes, a shallow stream becomes a strong flowing river. Even trucks weighing more than 15 tons cannot withstand the strong winds, causing them to overturn in a horrifying manner. Imagine, the fury of nature can turn giant vehicles into toys that can easily be pushed over. The The image of houses being swallowed whole by floodwaters, like a hungry wolf, truly makes us heartbroken. The consequences of this disaster were great losses for the people. We cannot imagine the pain they must endure when everything they were attached to and loved was swept away in the raging waters. Luckily for this man, there was a barrier that saved him from the floodwaters. On June 4, 2024, a heavy rain suddenly fell on Maharashtra, India, causing serious flooding as the water rushed through, sweeping away everything in its path. People here are facing countless difficulties, from flooded houses, damaged vehicles, and making traveling extremely difficult. Images of heavily destroyed roads make people's hearts cannot help but feel sad. This is truly a fierce challenge, requiring the resilience and solidarity of the community to overcome. A giant sinkhole suddenly appeared right on a highway, completely paralyzing traffic in this area. Luckily, at the time of the incident, no vehicles were moving around, avoiding a serious accident. A giant sinkhole appeared and swallowed a car like a predatory snake. In the blink of an eye, the car completely disappeared without leaving a trace. A horrifying scene just took place in a riverside village. The houses, the homes of many families, are being swept away by the fierce current. Be careful when building a house to ensure your safety. Two men were passionately catching fish in a small boat in the middle of the lake, and suddenly their boat was sucked into a bottomless hole. A breathtaking and scary moment, fortunately, rescue time arrived, saving two people from a dangerous situation. A violent tornado appeared near Dodge City, USA. In that tornado, the sky darkened and the space was covered in gloomy black. In the midst of that horrifying scene, a passerby promptly recorded haunting images. Their camera captured the entire moment the tornado emerged, swirling furiously in the darkness. A scene of devastation after a terrible tornado. Trees fell, houses turned into ruins. The scene was heartbreaking. The tornado not only swept away the property, but also took away the faith and hope of many people. The moment a bridge over a river in Brazil collapsed, broke in half, and then completely disappeared into the fast-flowing water, many locals were scared. The unusually high tide has caused people to panic and run for safety. Hundreds of people are racing against time, looking for a safe place. Very lucky for this man when he underestimated the floodwater and tried to cross it. Fortunately, his car overturned. Luck smiled at him. Heavy cars are being swept away by floodwaters extremely strongly. The water rushed like an uncontrollable monster, swallowing everything in its path. A man is fighting for his life as he tries to escape his car before it is swept away by floodwaters. But fortunately, with strength and strong will, he successfully escaped. Typhoon Malav No. 9 silently attacked Hong Kong with a terrifying force, leaving everyone shaken. In what was a dramatic and tense moment, it was a miracle that there were no reported injuries. We are truly lucky to face the devastation of nature this time. The passers-by faced a strong and challenging wind. The passers-by were caught in a fierce wind, forcing them to brace themselves and make every effort to overcome each step. Everyone was tense. His feet took each heavy step, trying not to be pushed back. The revolving door of a hotel was blown by the wind and turned as fast as a propeller. The sight of floods inundating old courtesans falling in Nil Nadu, India, forced many people to flee in terror from the coming cataclysm. A sudden flash flood hit WBA Australia, sweeping away cars and turning a small stream into a torrent in just a few minutes. The cruel force of nature has engulfed everything, endangering many lives. This is a warning about the harshness of nature that we cannot take lightly. A wave filled with foam hits the shore and people feel excited and experienced. A serious landslide caused an entire mountain to collapse onto the road below. Fortunately, at that time, no one was present near this area. Luckily for these people, they were warned early. Half the road was swept into the abyss by a terrible landslide. This scene is like a realistic nightmare, when everything around suddenly disappears into nothingness. A family's room shook violently due to a sudden earthquake. In that terrifying moment, everything turned upside down and furniture fell. The road was severely damaged, with many large cracks caused by the impact. A tornado suddenly appeared, attacking those present on the sand. Brightly colored umbrellas. Hello everyone, I am Kwan, the editor of today's program. Thank you for watching this video summarizing the most terrible natural disasters. Through these images, we see more clearly the power of nature and the importance of protecting our living environment. If you find this video useful and want to update more interesting and useful videos, please click the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any content from our channel. Thank you, and see you in the next video. At this tragedy. We pray for peace and strength to come to them during this difficult time.